Mulai.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, we are from Group 7. We will present our group reflection about post-pandemic era and social relationship. Before we start it, let me introduce our group members. Next slide, please. Uh, uh, First, me, myself, Brevia Chintya, then Callista Astina, and Hario Reswara. Next slide, please. So today we gonna talk about individual reflection by me, then individual reflection by Callista Astina. The third is individual reflection by Hario Reswara, and lastly, we will present about our group final reflection. Next slide, please. So, uh, let's start it. Next slide, please. Okay, this is my general initial perspective about post-pandemic era and social relationship. In my opinion, since the existence of COVID-19, technology for social relations has experienced a significant increase in its use and utilization. This allows people to maintain their social interaction through video conferencing platforms such as Zoom, Skype, and etc. I personally also think that there are more negative impacts than positive impacts from the presence of COVID-19, one of which is mental health. Since COVID-19 hit, mental health among older adults has deteriorated significantly, and this will have a detrimental effect on their ability to engage in social activities. Next slide, please. And what influenced my initial perspective? My initial opinion was what experienced and felt during the COVID-19 pandemic. Since the pandemic started, people have started to take advantage of technological advance, including me. My screen times have increased because almost all of my activities, including lectures, organizing, and interacting with those close to me, use smartphone, laptops, etc. From this, I can assume that the use of technology has increased significantly due to the lockdown. Apart from that, lockdown has also made me a more antisocial person, which is the evil side of my personality. I am also overthinking a lot. Even so, it is this solitude that gives me more time and space to think about what needs to be improved within me. Next slide, please. And I have watched 8 videos in total that raise the topic of the post-pandemic era and social relationship. 2 of them are about love, life, work, and balance after lockdown. From 2 verified YouTube accounts, namely NBC News and TED. Another video that I watched discussed the topic about the impact caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, both on the way people date, tips for reconnecting with friends who have not seen each other for a long time, and the positive impact of COVID-19 on family bonds. Next slide, please. And the speaker's perspective about the topic, how they confusing me, and what makes me relate the most with the way they delivered the issue. Most of the speakers agreed that the COVID pandemic had changed the way people were dating. Previously, people had the view that dating had to meet face to face, which has changed become to the trend of online dating. There are even several applications that provide facilities to get a partner online. Even so, the COVID-19 pandemic has also seriously changed the way people choose their life partners. Most people don't really care about romance during COVID-19 and prioritize what is more important and needed. COVID COVID-19 makes people think about their self-worth and what they need to introspect within themselves. Apart from being in a romantic relationship, COVID-19 has also taught us about work and life balance, where things that previously people thought we couldn't do in our daily life, we can actually change and do during the pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic has also had a positive impact on strengthening family bonds, especially for mothers and doctors. And what makes me feel most related to the way they convey the issue is that they invite resource person who have truly experienced it. Some of their opinions are also relate to how I felt during the pandemic, and they also invited experts on relationship and provided valid statement from existing studies. And this is my final perspective on the topic, which is about social relationship and post-pandemic era. Uh, my final perspective on this topic has changed. From previously, I only focus on the negative impacts arising from COVID-19, changing into the COVID-19, which also has many positive impacts. The COVID-19 pandemic helped us to be more serious in determining what things which will have an effect on our futures. And COVID-19 gives us more time to think and helps us to be aware of our self-worth and what mistake we need to correct to increase our self-worth. COVID-19 has also made a family bonds even tighter. So for the next part is Chalista. So Chalista, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Brevia, for the opportunity. Next slide, please. Okay, let me introduce myself. My name is Callista Astina, and I'm from Group 7, Class D. And my group topic is about post-pandemic era and social relationship. And my general initial perspective about the topic is the first idea that popped out in my head about social life after the pandemic era is that the pandemic can be ascertained that life is mostly done indirectly or virtually. It forced us to move from face-to-face activity into virtual activity, and this phenomenon will change our social life. Next slide. Okay, the next is what influenced your initial opinion. The thing that influenced my initial opinion is the situation of the topic, which I also feel this pandemic, so that I also get the social impact of this pandemic. And basically, my initial perspective is based on my experiences of the pandemic impacts of the pandemic that impacts on my social life. And for the next topic is about what videos related to the topic have you watched? Well, I've been watched 8 and more videos. And the type of the videos that I've been watched are mostly an interview with an expert, and it discuss about the social life after pandemic. And the sources are mostly from the verified channels such as the ED, USA Today, NBC News, and etc. And I think those speakers are trusted. And for the next topic is about the speaker's perspective about the topic. And I think their opinion about the topic are variative, but most of them they are given a positive tone, such as giving support about the situation or the social life or even the love life after the pandemic era. Next slide, please. Okay, so the next topic is how were the speaker from the videos confusing you, and what makes you relate the most with the way they deliver the issue. We're all talking about the things that relate with myself and with this topic. The topic is related to me because I experienced it in this pandemic phenomenon, so that a lot of things really happen and relate to my life. And because of the speaker said, a lot of things happen, such as it's changing my social life, and pandemic makes me spend so many time, a lot of time at home with my family, and also pandemic diverting my education life from face-to-face method to virtually method. And also pandemic affecting my love life, because after experiencing this pandemic, I have met a lot of new people through social media, and This gave me experience of how I can be interested in new people even though we met online, not in the real life. So yeah, I think it has changed my social life a lot. And for my final personal perspective about the topic, my final perspective, not much has changed from my initial perspective, because I do really agree that the pandemic has changed our social life. And I think at first we are met many struggles, but I think people are starting to be able to adapt to it. So this pandemic gives us a bad and good impact. And personally, I always try to see the positive impact, because it really helps me to not to get stressed during the pandemic. So yeah, it's changed my social life a lot. And that's my final reflection, and for the next session will be delivered by Hario.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. And uh, hello, my name is Hario Reswara, and this is my individual reflection. Uh, so, my general initial perspective about post-pandemic era and social relationship. So nowadays, technology is really improving days by days. During COVID-19 is really needed for three main aspects, which is health, transportation, and communication. My initial perspective about post-pandemic era is that there are many arguments that shows that social relationship and social communication in post-pandemic era is important or not. Many believe that communication during pandemic can endanger the health because of the spread of COVID-19, but there are also said that COVID-19 is not an excuse for communicate with each other. Also, as the social media growth is really fast, many people said that communication using social media is the way to go, because not only save the COVID, but also the same as communicate with people face to face. And I think the use of social media helps a lot with communication during pandemic, as it said previously. And I think by using social media can keep social relationship well and help people with their jobs. For the speaker's perspective, uh, for speaker from the speaker's perspective, many of them really agree with and positive about their arguments, mostly talking about the uses of technology and social media as their main communication during pandemic. But they also agree with but bring negative side about what their arguments for. For example, students in one of the universities in Korea said that using masks during festival is limit their voice and for them is really annoying. Uh, from the video related to the topic I have watched, uh, a video total that I watched, mainly talking about how to do proper communication during and after pandemic. Some talking about how the relationship people had during the pandemic and how they handle it, and some talking about kids losing their social skills because of the pandemic and many else. The source from the video I watched come from different professions like professional, professor, and people with the experience, and university student, and many else. Many of the video is talking about the positive side of their arguments, but also there are negative sides, and that should be considered. And there are also a suggestion for the audience. And what influenced my initial perspective? What influenced my opinion was when I was at high school. When the first COVID-19 spread, I was struggling with my communication with my friends, and knowing the information is really hard at first. But the help of social media and others technologies, not only I haven't been infected with COVID-19, but I also keep in touch with my friends even in pandemic. And my final personal perspective or opinion about the topic, my opinion towards the topic is The same with my initial perspective, which is the use of social media helps a lot with socialize during pandemic and not only safe from COVID, but also it's really the same as talking with people face to face. And I think by using social media can keep their relationship well and help people with their jobs. Uh, that's it for me. And moving on to the group final reflection. So our group's perspective on post-pandemic era and social relationships is that the pandemic has changed things, in particular the way we socialize, whether it is the way we try to reconnect with our friends after being apart of for a long time due to the lockdown, the way people in banking and the family way of bonding. It might be difficult at the beginning because we have to adapt to new things that we never thought we will do before, and but with this can explore many things that we can actually do. Maybe when going through it feel very difficult, but without realizing it, COVID-19 also brings many positive impact to us. Next will be Callista. So Callista, time is yours.
Okay, thank you. So the next question is, in what way does this current perspective, sorry, in what way does this current perspective influence your way of thinking? You may explain based on your role as a student, a member of family or society, or a human in general. So after watching some videos about post-pandemic era and social relationship, we agree that the COVID-19 pandemic has changed many things, especially in the way we socialize. As a student, we have to move out the learning method from offline to online, and it makes us a little bit struggle at first, but at the end, after studying more deeply about the use of technology, we feel that people are more adaptable to learning with online method. So that's all our group reflection. I will give it back to Brevia.
Okay, so that's all for our group reflection, final reflection. And thank you for your attention. Bye bye. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.